We found probably one of the weirdest polyamory couples. I don't even know what is this couple. I don't understand this, but we'll just jump in and explain the clear manipulation and mental illness you're seeing and how people have really degraded. Let's watch video number 2.
Hi, my name is Anna. I am dating everybody in the polycule. I am married to Jake. We've been together for 8 years and married for 3. I'm dating Spencer. We've been together for 3.5. And I am dating Ellie, and we've been together just over a month now. I am bisexual, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm also in charge of this account and in general.
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm married to Anna, and she's currently my only partner. I am demi-romantic, which means I only get feelings for people, like romantic feelings for people, if I've been around them for a while and get to know them really well. And I'm technically pansexual, but I like the bi-colors more, so I call myself bisexual. My pronouns are he, they.
There was a demon.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm dating Anna. I'm not currently dating anybody else. I'm some flavor of queer. And my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Spencer. I'm only dating Anna. I'm bi, but like bi.
Who's holding the gun to his head behind the camera?
My pronouns are they, them. What? And my gender is... Wait.
So your pronouns were he, they.
Doesn't even know.
I'm being held hostage.
Are you having a realization?
I don't know. My gender is to be determined.
I'm just going to toss to you. I've been trying to understand this video. I've watched it like 12 times and I've been trying to process. I'm lost.
That guy with the kitty ears, he was like, what did he say? He said, I don't develop romantic feelings for anyone until I spend enough time with them. I'm like, that's everyone. That's not a different gender. It's the same thing with
yeah, like there's like lust and romance are different. You can have sex. Guys can have sex with almost any girl, but they can't make love to every girl. Yeah. That's romance.
Right.
It's
but
different.
Like there's it was Andrew Cuomo's daughter who came out as like demisexual or something. And demisexual means like, like having sexual attraction to a man if you're like emotionally attached to them. I'm like, yeah, that's all woman.
Yeah.
That's all woman.
And she just said she doesn't love. It's not like women are just like if you're, like we said, if you're not a hoe, you're not just like lusting after a penis. You're wanting to fall in love with someone.
Exactly. And then it becomes attractive. Yes, exactly. And that's the natural progression of things. And that's how God designed us. God wired men to be more visual and then women to be more emotional, right? And so that's kind of like how the complementarian kind of dynamic works between male and female. But it's like, how do you have he, they pronouns? What does that even mean? I really try to, and you did a thesis on this, so you probably know a little more. Maybe you can explain to me, but what does that mean to be a he, they? Like, no, you're a dude or you're not. You either have a penis or you don't. You have XY chromosomes or you have XX chromosomes. What is having he, they pronoun? How can you have a singular and plural pronouns? Like, what does this mean?
I think, well, Savannah, I want to point that out, like to your earlier point about the way women and men are wired. Savannah knows this. This is really common that women end up saying that they end up loving a guy so much. When you ask them if they found the guy attractive at first, most of the time they say, not really.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about dating, but when they're really like the guy, they're like, they usually actually say, I didn't find the guy that attractive at first, and now I think he's so attractive. I see this all the time. You never see a guy really be like, very often like, I didn't find the girl attractive and I do now and I'm happy. They're like forcing it, but usually they're like, yeah, I thought she was hot. That was like basically the first thing. I thought she was pretty and that's what I wanted to be with her. And girls, am I not wrong on this? A lot of times girls, when they find a guy that they really love, they end up going from not finding them attractive, Savannah, to finding them very attractive.
Yeah, men are visual creatures. Women are not. Women can, women are very much about the personality for sure. And that's how you can win them over. Whereas men, like, again, they're visual creators. So
we love the personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Both. We date the triplets. No, but it is still, you're right. And then on the he, they, let's discuss this. Because Sav, I know you've been in this. Let's get in the triple split. Can we get a triple split?
Of course.
Can we get in this? Okay, so the he, they. The idea of focusing on pronouns just means you're clearly like your priorities are off. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the plurality, because like there is a they, them pronoun, and we do use that, especially when we don't know somebody, right? So when we don't know someone, like, oh yeah, they, oh yeah, like especially if you don't know the name, like I'm like, I don't know Kongman's name, I'm like, oh yeah, they were here yesterday or whatever, like past tense kind of thing. But when you use the pronoun plural for yourself, you're making like you don't know who you are. Like a plural is like I am many, and that is, and we've talked about this many times, but that is a satanic insistence in the Bible of this idea of plurality
it's like
within a human being.
Guy who's demon possession is like I am legion, right?
Yeah,
it's like plurality. But that's the thing, though. It's like that
a God thing, right? 3 in 1. It's like you are multiple.
Yeah, but it's like it's so weird because the idea of gender identity has no basis in material reality. It means nothing. They say, I don't know what gender I am, so I don't know if I'm male or female. No, you are either male or you're either female. God didn't create us with like abstract genders. You're either male or female. He created us male or female. Obviously, there are exceptions. There are people who are intersex, but even those who are intersex, that's not only an abnormality, they also have a primary sex characteristic, and they just might have reproductive organs of the other sex. So you're either a dude or you're not. And it's just so frustrating because they're completely rewriting definitions and things don't mean anything anymore to the point we can't have conversations, we can't communicate. And I don't know how we can live in a society when they're continually rewriting the definition of words.
Well, yeah, and we have this video here. This is so confusing. We're going to play video 1. This is like where you no longer know who you are. There'll be this gay guy who's interested in women, and there's this lack of identity where, like, look, admit it. I think that LGBT, QIIA, whatever, plus people.
There's a 2S in the beginning now.
Yeah, two slug butts. That's what it is, the slug butts. But I'm saying what it is the devil always masks his lies in some truth. That's how he gets people to latch on. And what they talk about, which is true, is that sexuality is fluid, meaning there are ways to live outside of a binary, God's design, and there are ways to move outside of that, between heterosexual, monogamous sex between a man and a woman. That is the binary, man, woman, you come together, right? These are the terms they use. We don't really use them, but if I'm adapting their terms, there's a binary, men and women, and then there is a gate. There is a sort of a normalcy, which they admit, right? They say we're LGBTQS, LGBTQIAA+, meaning we are expressions outside of God's design. That's the point of it. And people do struggle with that. Like some people genuinely struggle with homosexuality or things because they were molested. That's a very common thing. Yeah. Very common thing. And people don't like to admit that, but it is very, 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 very common. I was watching a TikToker the other day whose dad left his mom, came out as gay. I don't know if you've had 5 kids, if you were really gay, if you got a boner around a chick, but apparently he came out as gay. And maybe he's fluid or whatever, and he came out as gay. Now, the reason why he probably came out as gay and left his family is because he probably was molested, I'm assuming, or something traumatic happened, probably didn't deal with the same-sex attraction, probably continued to look at gay porn or something, maybe did some risky interactions. I don't know. And eventually like his flesh took over and he like sort of embraced a side of him outside of God's identity. And people say, well, that feels more like me. And the reason why it probably does is because your sinful nature is a little more of who you are, but it's not who God designed you to be or who you are with Christ. Now, what was crazy is in the end of this, guess the sexuality of the son that made the video. He was gay. Like, meaning like the kids were gay too, like meaning the generational, it affects the next generation over them. And that's why like it is really crazy when you live outside of God's design, the confusion, you can become confused. That's why God created parameters. He created a design so that we stay within these things, and he created redemption. So like if you are molested or you do have trauma, or even if you don't, and you just naturally like have some sort of a strange, like not even sexual, but like asexual, God can show you your movement, your identity, and what to be in life. And what we have when we remove God from the sexual binary, from the sexual closure and the boundaries, we end up with things like this in video 1, where people are just bloody confused, and I am too. Let's play video 1.
So I recently told my parents that I may be a little bit romantically interested in women. And that was a big shock for them, considering the past 10 years of coming out as gay, then queer, then non-binary, then trans. And I think it was just a bit of a shock. So I tell my dad, and he goes, well, I would love to see you get a woman pregnant. And I said, oh, no. She would be getting me pregnant. And then he said, what, do you have a vagina now? And I said, never say never. And then I tell my mom, and she goes, I would just love to see you own property one day. And in California, that's sort of, a parent's dream. It's not having kids or getting married. It's are you able to own a house? Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm just going to go back to you. There was a very confusing video. Very confusing. Let's break it down, Kongman. You break it down. What's going on here?
I don't know, because he went from gay to queer to non-binary to different things. I don't know, man. I'm just so tired of it.
I know, but I'm saying the point is, I'm saying my rant about with Christ and boundaries is meaning like this is the point. Is that it's how the person switched and switched and switches. Like when you don't deal with your sexual trauma, when you don't deal with your sexuality, when you don't bring your sexuality before God, and that doesn't include just queerness. That could be just immorality, like just literally just going out and slapping cheeks with hoes, you know? I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, anything outside of what God wants, if you don't try to work on it, the level of confusion, it's never going to stop. You're never going to be settled and happy. Like, look at the answers to his parents. I might have a vagina. I don't know. Who knows? What's up? Because you have no truth. There's no foundation. So your sexuality can be manipulated into whatever direction.
Right. And this is why, again, the only way we're going to take back this country is if we have revival, is if we turn to Christ, if this nation repents. And that's a very I feel like it's a very boomer Christian talking point, but it's very true, because again, apart from God, we have no truth, and apart from God, we have no objective morality. There's this weird idea that you can be like, I think atheists can be they can be conservative and they can like Christian values, but again, like, without the foundation and knowing the creator himself, then all that goes to waste. And you build your worldview on sand, not on the rock. And I think when we think about how to take back this country, how do we stop this insanity? How do we stop the rise in mental illness and suicide rates and depression, the increased rates of kids identifying as gay and trans? And obviously, like you mentioned, most children who come out as gay were actually molested when they were very, very young, whether they remember it or not, because it rewires their brain because they're so impressionable as young kids. And all of this can all be solved if we all turn to Christ. And obviously the church has its own corruption and its own flaws, and there are leaders and pastors and faith leaders who abuse people and abuse their power, but in the end, they don't represent Christ because Christ himself was perfect. And if we long for Christ, and if we draw near to him, he promises that he'll draw near to us.
A great philosopher once said that you can be 2 out of 3 things: liberal, smart, or honest, but you can't be all 3. At Slightly Offensive, we're smart and honest. And if you like this clip, head over to Slightly Offensive YouTube channel by clicking right here, where you can find new episodes of our show weekly. We're bringing you the topics, news stories, and angles that will have you saying, why the hell wasn't I subscribed sooner? Also, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to this channel too.